edition of Senior Showcase, where we recognize an outstanding member of the class of 2020. And I'm privileged today to have with us Ryan Fiss. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Awesome. So if you wouldn't mind to kind of take a minute and just share what you've been up to over the last 4 years while you've been attending PR.
Yeah, definitely. So, hey, everyone, I'm Ryan Fist. And over the past 4 years at Prairie Ridge, I've been a member of the basketball team for all 4 years, the track team for all 4 years, and then I was a member of the Spanish National Honor Society for 2 years.
Awesome. So, well, first, tell me about Spanish National Honor Society, kind of who headed that up now and your involvement there.
Yeah, so Senorita Grote, she was the head, and Senora Lee, they were the two, the teacher heads of the Spanish National Honor Society. And I got into that at the end of my sophomore year, and I finished out with that at the end of the first semester of my senior year. So that was a really fun thing to do with all my friends. And I really enjoyed Spanish classes all throughout my 4 years at Prairie Ridge. So it was just a natural thing to join the Spanish National Honor Society.
Awesome. Now, did you play hoops for 4 years?
I did, yeah.
Okay. And so tell me about that, because you had a couple injuries. And so tell me the ups and downs of hoops.
So it was a really cool experience for me to be able to play, because there's two separate programs. My first 2 years were under a different head coach than my second 2 years. So that was really awesome to be able to see like the switch of the program when I was when I was a junior and I was on the varsity team. And then this past year as a senior, I got injured right at the beginning of the basketball season. And then I also got injured like 3 weeks after I came back from the first injury. So that was a tough break. And now because of the pandemic, like just couldn't go right this year. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. So
now are you healthy at this point, at least?
I am. Yeah, I'm getting stronger. So yeah, I'm fully healthy now.
Are you still able to manage to work out and do some things?
Yeah, I've been doing physical therapy stuff. That's been the key to it all, is just keep working on the bad leg, because it was the injury I sustained. It happened to the same leg again. So just working on getting that stronger and getting back to 100%.
Awesome. So tell me what was the transition like? Tell me about Coach Smith and the program and a little bit about him and your experience.
Yeah, so I had a really awesome experience the past 2 years on the varsity team. So Coach Smith is the head coach of the varsity basketball team, and I've had the pleasure of getting to know him as a coach, as a person, and as a teacher, because I had him for honors pre-calc as a junior. So the program is in really good hands under him.
Great. So tell me about, as you look back on the last 2 years of varsity, obviously, unfortunately, couldn't get back, and playoffs got cut short, and so the team didn't get a chance to compete there. But what are some of the good times and kind of your fondest memories of being out on the hardwood and with the guys?
I think, especially in the past 2 years on the varsity team, the chemistry of the team was really good. All the guys got along really well together, and I think that was one of the biggest differences I noticed from the varsity teams my first 2 years as a freshman and sophomore compared to the junior and senior teams, how much better the whole program clicked better at the past 2 years. So that was a really fun experience to be a part of.
Now, if you think about, obviously, every group that we've always been around as that we're part of has a clown. So if you look at the basketball program, who's that person that was just hilarious or kept things light or could just be considered kind of the team clown that you guys had fun with?
Yeah, so my first year as a junior, I would say definitely one of the, like, Jonathan Robinson and Drew Gendy were two of the funniest people I've ever played basketball with. And I also knew Drew from the track team. So he was always a fun guy to keep it lighthearted, but he also knew how to be serious and he was a really good role model and example to all the people on the team, on both of those teams. So that was fun. And then this past year, when I was a senior, Tegan Trost, he was injured for the season, but he was always fun to be around at practices and at games. And it was just fun to listen to and fun person to be around.
All right, now that you threw them both out, you got to give us a funny specific about it. That's you're allowed to say over air here, but give me an example.
So I would say, as a junior, one of the funniest things, it happened all season long, and it was just anytime they would try to always get under each other's skin, Drew and Jonathan, and they would, we'd call Jonathan J-Rob, like, so that was, it was, Drew would always mess with him, and they would sometimes like get into like arguments, and it was always funny to watch it. Like everyone would just stop the practice and just watch them argue. So that was definitely the funniest thing, and it wasn't even once; it was all the time. So that was awesome.
So almost like sibling bickering the whole time.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, yep.
And then Tegan always seems so mild-mannered and such a sweet kid, but obviously there's a humorous dark side to him. So tell us about Tegan.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say much of a dark side, but he's just really funny, and he's smart about how he's funny. It's like he'll do things, I can't even think of an example. It's just always like witty comments and just acting goofy at the practices. So it always kept it lighthearted. And especially at the beginning of the season when I was injured, it was real fun to be able to, because we were both sitting on the chairs. We both had knee injuries, so we couldn't really walk around, and we just messed with each other, like spin around on the office chairs. So that I'm sure Coach Smith didn't appreciate it while we were messing around, but I appreciated it. It lightened it up a little bit. So
well, great. So and then track, I don't even know if you had a chance to start doing any workouts for track this year or anything like that.
It was so because of basketball, I didn't get to track until the first week of March.
Yep.
And most of the other track team, they start at the end of January doing indoor workouts and stuff. So I got about 1 weekend of track workouts, and then we got called off for the year. So
what events have you participated in track over your 4 years in, Ryan?
Yeah, so primarily I've done pole vault and high jump. Those are my two main things. It wasn't much of a runner, more of a field event guy.
Now, how did you get into those two things? Was it just, hey, come on out, or Drew convinced you? Because I knew Drew was involved in some of that, but how'd you get involved in that?
So I was actually a gymnast up until I was in 5th or 6th grade. So I'd always been able to, that was kind of fun doing like acrobatic things for me. And so like the whole pole vault is really how I got into it. And I did high jump in middle school, but I wasn't sure if I was going to do that in high school, if I was going to continue with it. But they were convincing me, like, you should really try pole vault. That's like a natural progression from gymnastics, and it's a lot of the same movements and stuff like that. So I thought I just gave it a shot one time as a freshman, and it turned out working out pretty well. I clicked with it pretty early on.
So what was your personal best in the pole vault?
It was 12 feet. So it wasn't, I had a little bit of a slump as a junior. I wasn't doing as well as I had hoped to. And I kind of transitioned last year into high jump. And for high jump, I was 1 inch away from qualifying for state. So that was, yeah.
Oh,
so it would have been nice if I could have tried it again this year, but.
So what was your personal best in high jump then?
It was 6'2", I believe. It was 6'1" or 6'2". It's one of those. Because I want to say it was 6'2" because 6'3" was the state qualifying.
That blows me away that anyone could leap the height of their own height. In that, because you're about 6'2", 6'3", right?
Yeah. So a lot of it is like technique. I do have like a pretty good body for it because I'm tall, but having gymnastics and the body control from that definitely served me well for both of those events.
So tell me, who is your coach in the field events for track now?
Mm-hmm. So Coach Tagey, Mrs. Tagey was my high jump coach, and then for pole vault it was Dan Prochnow. He doesn't work at the school, but works with the track team.
And how was that working with Mrs. Tagey? Oh, you froze on me. Gotta love technology. Can you hear me okay now, Ryan?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
All right. I was going to say,
how was it working with the coaches?
Yeah, how was it working with Mrs. Tagey with the long jump? Because what people don't realize, she's got some intensity when it comes to coaching.
Yeah. So it was really awesome getting to work with her. Because I was with the team for the whole 4 years, or it would have been 4 years this year. So it was I got to see her in a different light than I think a lot of people would have been able to see her as like a teacher. And she was all the coaches have like a hand in doing everything. So it was really nice to be able to get to know her. And she was a really great coach, very supportive, and always, you could tell she really wanted the best for everyone on the track team. And same with Coach Prochnow. Like, there was never a time where I felt that I wasn't in good hands or that they didn't care. It was always striving to get the best out of each of the athletes. So that was really nice. I was really lucky to be a part of the track program at Prairie Ridge, because I don't think it would have been the same any other school. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, great. So where are you looking to take your talents in the future now? What's in store for Ryan next?
Yeah, so I'll be going to Lake Forest College next year, and I'll be trying out for the basketball team. We'll see if there even is a season next year. I'm hoping there will be one, but.
Awesome. The Foresters. And we were talking earlier, that was my first foray into college too, was going to Lake Forest. So gonna love that there. So beautiful city and campus. And what went into that? When did you start the process of kind of looking at schools, and what's your ultimate goal here, and how'd you end up at Lake Forest?
Yeah, so I was first looking at schools like primarily over the summer before senior year and in the spring of junior year. And I knew I wanted to stay pretty close to home. I wanted to stay somewhere like in Illinois or not too far up in like Wisconsin. So I was looking at schools around here, and I knew I didn't want to go somewhere super big. So I also wanted to play basketball. So when I was looking, I was down to a few schools, and Lake Forest just turned out the best. I liked the campus the best. I liked the atmosphere of everything, and I liked a lot of the faculty I met there. So it seems to be a perfect fit.
Now, Lake Forest is a liberal arts college, but where do you want to take that? What do you want to look at from a career or studies specific?
Yeah, so I plan to major in biology to someday become a doctor and go to medical school. So that's my goal.
So you're going to kind of try to take a pre-med track there.
Yep.
and a lot of science classes. And
yeah.
So, wow, good for you. So what other schools were in the running as you were looking at different colleges in the area?
Yeah, so it was Carthage and North Central were some of the other ones that I was really looking towards. I was also looking at Loyola, but not as much to play basketball. That would have been difficult, but
that would have been the straight med school track.
Yeah.
Got it. Awesome. So if we look 10 years down the road, you're now 28 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where are you? What are you doing? What's the discipline of medicine that you're focusing on, or maybe finishing up?
Yeah. So I really hope the main track of I'd like to be a pediatrician. That seems to be something I'd really like to do. I really like working with kids, and with the whole gymnastics thing, I worked as a gymnastics coach up until my sophomore year. And I really enjoyed getting to work with kids like that and seeing them grow and teaching them every day. So that was a really fun experience. And I think working with kids and being able to help kids would be super rewarding as a career to do that. So I'd like to, in 10 years, I hope to be starting with that.
Awesome. Now, where did you coach gymnastics at?
At Carrie Gymnastics. That's where I did gymnastics too. And it was really cool because I got to work alongside one of my previous coaches from years ago. So that was awesome.
Oh, awesome. And then that love of kids and being involved there. So terrific. Yeah. Now, if you look back at your experiences at Prairie Ridge just over the last year, what really sticks out on you as being extremely memorable and something you're going to always remember with your friends?
I think one of the things that I would remember the most is once I came back from injury during the basketball season, because I'd worked super hard to get back. My goal, because I got injured in November, and my goal was to get back at least sometime during the season. So I worked really hard and was able to get healed by winter break. And I remember I had there's a 2 or 3 week span where I was playing pretty well. And I remember thinking I was finally healthy again. So that was probably my most memorable moment from the year. Definitely.
Awesome.
And I felt like I was getting my stride back for basketball.
And then what happened? Did you have a freak accident that sidelined you again?
Mm-hmm. So it was in a game, and it was just a weird like I stepped funny and it messed up my knee again. So then it kind of sidelined me for it was pretty much the rest of the season. So that was disappointing, but yeah.
Now, going back to basketball, if you look at the games kind of over your 4 years there at PR, are there a couple games that really stand out as just being awesome and really fun, great games?
I remember as a junior playing against Dundee Crown. They were one of the top 2 or 3 teams in our conference. And I remember knocking them off. It was pretty late in the season and it messed up. Like, I think they never recovered. I don't think they were in the top 3 then after that. So I just remember like upsetting them. And that was a pretty cool game to play in and watch too. So
yeah, and they were conference champs, right? I believe, or
they were previous. I think the year before they were, and we knocked them out of that position. So that was a pretty, like, they weren't contending anymore for it. So yeah.
Awesome. Now, over the last 4 years of your time at Prairie Ridge, you've mentioned who are the teachers that really affected you deeply and were just great to have?
Yeah. Well, I think Coach Smith was really the teacher and coach that I was the closest with during my 4 years, and Mrs. Tagey. Those were really two. I never had her as a teacher, but as a coach and as people, they were super supportive of when I was injured and helping me with college stuff. And for Coach Smith specifically, I was not planning on playing basketball as a junior. So he was really the one convincing me and pushing me to play varsity basketball. And I am very thankful for that because I'm continuing with it today. And I love playing. So I'm glad he convinced me to do that and gave me the confidence to be able to do it.
Great. Now, when you look back at time in the classroom, because I know both of them had an impact, and not necessarily Mrs. Tagey in the classroom, but who are some of the other teachers you look back on now that really had a great impact on you in the classroom?
2 of my teachers that I really loved having in the classroom were Mrs. Body and Mrs. Stan Tesley. So I really liked having them. They were always really nice and great teachers. I always looked up to them as being people I could always rely on if I had questions or if I needed anything. So they were great to have.
And I know that students always talk about having fun in their classes, and anything in particular that stands out from Mrs. Stan Tesley's or Mrs. Body's class?
We always really had a lot of fun in there, and both of them knew how to have fun and also when to be serious and when it needed, like when class time we really needed to get down to business. And I'm thinking in first semester of Mrs. Body this past year, Riley Smith, who he was always fun to be in there, and he would play like a little piano on his phone, and we always would like stop the class and listen to him play the piano. So that was something that always stood out to me. So yeah.
Oh man, I'm just picturing that, playing that. So what?
Yeah, he's got big hands.
Hunting
like
and pecking, or was he trying? Can you do full? Was he able to do his full hands on it, or what was he doing?
It was pretty much, and it was like whenever anyone had a birthday in the class, he'd like play Happy Birthday on his little piano, like on the app on his phone. So that was all. It was funny, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And it's awesome that you had that freedom that Mrs. Body gave you guys that freedom to be able to expand on that. Yeah. So we've had the quarantine last couple months. Tell me about that. What has become the new Fist family tradition over that period that you guys have been partaking in?
Yeah, it's just been a lot of walks and bike rides, really. We've been spending a lot of our time. It's been really nice to like slow down and be able to spend a lot more time with my family because I've been pretty busy the past 4 years of high school. So it's been kind of nice to be able to spend more time at home and slow things down for a change. So
now, since you brought up your family, why don't you describe your family for us? Who are the members, their names, etc.?
Yeah, so my mom is Linda Fist. And then I have a little brother named Kevin Fist, who's a freshman at Prairie Ridge. So that we're super close as a family, and my little brother is like my best friend. So we have a lot of the same interests and do a lot of the same things. It's been nice to be able to spend more time with him at home and doing things that we can do together.
Well, has that involved any binge watching or book reading? I mean, what's that been like as well?
Yeah, so both of us really like Star Wars movies and superhero movies and stuff like that. So we've been watching a ton of that. And we also are both big fans of the Bulls. So watching like The Last Dance, the Bulls documentary, the past couple weeks has been really awesome.
Oh, great. And so you've been wearing out your Disney Plus subscription then, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So since you're into the Marvel movies what's the must, hey, if there's one Marvel movie I could watch or one superhero movie I could watch, what movie is that going to be?
I would say like Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. I don't think they're on Disney Plus yet, but those are two movies. It was so awesome seeing those in theaters, and those are some of those like memorable moments I have from like watching any movie. I've enjoyed like superheroes from the time I was little, and it's just seeing them like it was like a 10-year process getting up to that point. So that was awesome to be there for that.
Now, would you classify yourself as a total like Star Wars junkie?
Pretty much. Yeah, I'm definitely more like knowledgeable than I'd say the average person. I've watched pretty much all of the stuff there is, like the TV shows, the movies, everything. So
Wow. So you probably wore a stormtrooper costume as a kid at some point?
yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yep.
Or all right, were you Darth Vader one year or not?
I don't think I was ever Darth Vader, but I remember like stormtroopers and stuff like that. I liked like Luke Skywalker, all the like the Jedi characters more than like the dark side characters.
And if we were in your room, we'd probably find a few lightsabers still around.
Definitely, yeah, and superhero stuff, everything like that. Yep.
So what Star Wars movie would be that's the best one?
I would say my favorite Star Wars movie is probably Empire Strikes Back, the original one, just because it was so. I think those original 3 movies are probably my favorite ones, just because even though I never saw it when it first came out, it's still so classic, and you can tell that it's like a historic movie. All those are like big things those are timeless. So those are definitely awesome movies to watch.
Sure. Now, what's been the go-to takeout place? Is there a couple fallbacks that have been big for your family?
Well, for my family, not as much takeout, just doing a lot of cooking and stuff. We've been doing like a ton of stuff at home that we usually wouldn't like be making. So that's been really fun. That's been some of the fun of quarantine too, doing a lot of things that I'm not used to doing and like new things. So.
All right. So what's the Ryan Fisk specialty if we told you to cook something up now?
Well, me and my brother really like making burgers. So like every week we try to make like we're grilling burgers and stuff and try to change it up, put different things on them. So that's been real fun because usually I wouldn't have time to be like cooking stuff. So right now it's been fun to kind of experiment with things like that. So
are you making up your own patties with ground beef? Or are you buying patties and just messing with the fixings, or how you're cooking? What's the go-to?
Yeah, we tried to do just our own ground beef and make them, but it didn't turn out as well as we'd hoped. So we just stick to usually like the frozen ones and mess with like the toppings and stuff. So
okay,
yeah.
So it's kind of like the Fuddruckers at the Fisk family.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
All right, so what's your go-to burger then? What's on it?
I really like it's just like lettuce, tomato, cheese, and then onions, and then ketchup and mustard. Pretty basic, but I really like that's like my go-to one.
Well, what kind of cheese?
Like just cheddar cheese, yeah.
Okay.
Pretty basic, yeah.
So how have you been connecting with your friends over this time? I mean, what have been some of the activities to try to still stay connected with them?
I've been playing a lot of video games with my friends, just texting them, Snapchat. I've been like Zoom meetings, stuff like that. So it's definitely not the same as seeing them in person, but it's been still nice to be able to connect with them somehow. So
what's the video game fallback?
We like to play Fortnite and then Call of Duty. Those are my favorite ones to play with them. And then NBA 2K20.
Okay. Now I'm assuming there's been some PR people involved in that.
Yeah.
All right. Who are some of your go-to? And this is your opportunity to just let us know which one of them just needs to put the console down because they're just not that good.
So I really enjoy playing with 2 of my friends that I've gotten to know in like the classroom and in sports teams. One of them is Adrian Rendon. I met him through track and he did football as well. So I've been playing with him a lot on Call of Duty. And then Danny Lewis is also another one I've been playing with a lot. I play Fortnite with him and Call of Duty and 2K. So I've had fun playing with them. I don't know if I can throw them under the bus on here, though. I'd feel kind of bad about it.
Hey, I'm trying to figure out what's Adrian doing about his hair during that time.
Yeah.
I mean, it must be down to his butt by now.
I think he did get a haircut earlier over the winter, and he's always telling me, he's like, oh, I miss my hair so much. I wish, like, I'm waiting. He had it calculated how long it'll take to get back to like his normal length, how much he likes it. So I know he has a plan of when that's coming back already, but yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So, so you're taking the high road. You're not gonna now. You got game? Are you pretty good at those games?
Pretty decent at them. There's also games that I like to play by myself. Have you ever heard of Super Smash Brothers?
I have.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at that one. So I like to play that one by myself because I don't like to take it out on all the other guys. I don't want to make them feel bad or anything. So I like to play that one by myself.
Now, does your little brother play with you as well?
Yeah, he loves all those games too. And so that sometimes that causes more problems than more. It's kind of problematic because sometimes we bicker about it, but it's all in good fun.
So if you looked at picture a kid in junior high now and he or she's getting ready to come to PR next year, what would be a recommendation you would have for them?
I would just say take advantage of anything you want to do early on, and don't be afraid to try new things or do things that are out of your comfort zone. Because I definitely, like now with this whole pandemic and having school canceled, and especially with my injury this year, just I would take advantage of the things you really like to do and treat it like it's the last time you'll ever get to do it. Because like in my case, it kind of was. I wouldn't have thought last year that I wouldn't have the opportunity to like retry to get to state for track. So just having the opportunity to like work at it early on and hammer that in then is important.
Awesome. Now, did you partake in the graduation parade yesterday?
I was. Yep, I was there.
All right,
Yeah.
tell me about that. How was that? What did you guys do? And
yeah, so it was a really awesome experience. And so my family, I wore the cap and gown and everything, and then my family also like decorated my car. So that was, I know it wasn't everyone's first choice of how they wanted to graduate, not the students or the faculty, but it was really it was really nice of the faculty to still do something for the seniors. So I really appreciated that from Prairie Ridge.
did you see all your teachers there? Was that pretty cool, just seeing them all lined up? And
It was cool because usually when I see my teachers, it's like all separate. So it's kind of fun seeing them like all together and at the same time. So yeah.
now, what's the first thing? Just picture you're king and everything's back to normal. What's the first thing you're just going to want to do that you took for granted before?
Definitely go do track. I know at the practices, a lot of people would complain about the running and like the workouts we'd have to do because it was a lot sometimes. And for a lot of kids, especially starting out, it's difficult to get into that like track shape and doing all the running all the time. But I would totally, anytime, I'd go out there and run miles just to get back into it. I miss it a lot. So
Great. So now that you can consider yourself an alumni now officially, what does once a wolf, always a wolf mean to you?
I think it's just all the things that I learned at PR and got to experience at PR. Even though it's over now, I'll still take everything that I learned and the lessons I learned from that and like use them for the rest of my life. Yeah.
Oh, great. Now, for other than your family, what's kind of that one weird thing or quirky thing or hidden talent that people just don't know about Ryan Fist?
I'd say something a lot of people probably don't know about me is my family are big like theme park fans. Like over the summer, we probably won't get to do it this summer, but we have like Six Flags season passes. We used to spend we'd go there a couple times a week, and we're also like a big Disney family. So every summer we try to go to like the Disney parks, either in California or Florida, and we love going there. So yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So what's been your all-time favorite ride? I'm assuming you're a big roller coaster guy then, right?
I am, yeah.
So and you're probably roller coaster, superhero, Star Wars. So there's a lot there too.
Yeah.
What's been the ultimate roller coaster? If people get a chance, that's the roller coaster you got to go on.
I would say at Six Flags, my favorite roller coaster is Raging Bull. That one's my all-time favorite one.
Okay, so the one here in Gurney,
yeah, in Gurney,
in Southwest Territory, yeah.
Yep. And then at Disney, my favorite ride I would say is probably Tower of Terror. It's not a roller coaster, but it's like a drop ride. So that one, it's still a thrill ride, and I've always loved that one. So yeah.
Yeah, you're crazy. That one, I'm not as thrilled about that one, especially when you don't know when it's coming. So
yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, this was a real privilege to get to know you, Ryan. Like I said, there's been a number of people like, oh, you got to talk to Ryan. He's a great example, awesome student, great person, and I'm glad I had a chance to do this with you. So
thank you. I appreciate it.
Wish you nothing but success as you go on to be a Forester. Good luck with hoops in the future, and all the best.
All right, thank you. Thank you for doing this with me.
Everybody just clap your hands. Clap your hands, everybody just clap your hands.
So tell me about the fact you won the Booster Scholarship. So
I applied a while ago for it that's what I was doing at the beginning of the whole quarantine. I was trying to I was filling out applications for scholarships, all kinds of things like that. So I ended up winning. So that was a really awesome experience. And it was really nice to be able to be honored by the PR Booster Club, which had such a hand in putting together all of the athletics and things that I've been a part of for my whole high school career. So that was it was an awesome experience. Definitely.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks again, Ryan. I appreciate your time. You were great, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm glad we were able to talk.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you again.
Hey, no problem. We'll talk soon.
Yeah,
All right.
definitely.
Good luck.